Hello everyone, this is Gabby and today is the beginning of a new vlog. I am so excited because this is the sequels vlog. Yes, this vlog is mainly for me because I wanted to read a bunch of sequels and I wanted to yell at a camera because I will have so many emotions. That's how I am here. I don't know how interesting this is for you. This is just reading sequels to probably my favorite books of the year slash this slash previous year, and we're gonna have so much fun. I am so excited. Let me tell you what we'll be reading this one so you can decide whether it's of interest. But I will be reading Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn, which is second book in the Legendborn cycle. Then we have A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lynn, which is book 2 in, what is it called? Magic Steeping Poison is book 1, and I've read this book this year, and my wonderful boyfriend picked this up for me when he was in the US, so that's how I have a sequel living in the UK. Then we're gonna be reading The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. I know. I'm beyond excited. I've been dying to read this book. This is book 2 in, I don't know, but it's a sequel to Six Crimson Cranes. Probably my favorite book of last year. It's already going badly. Oh, God. This is you're my least anticipated book out of the bunch. Oh wow, that worked. Yes! It is All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Kristen Lynn Herman. So this book is book 2 in All of Us Villains, or that was book 1. I don't actually know what the series is called. Seriously, these are probably what I've been thinking about for the past year. I mean, they've been so excited. There are more sequels that I wanted to read, but we only have so much time, and I decided to start with these. Hopefully, if you enjoyed this vlog, we can do another installment. I actually started the book, so let me tell you about it. Alright, let's get comfy and talk about Bloodmarked. So I started Bloodmark when I was in Oxford, so hopefully you saw some beautiful shots of that book, of that place, because I filmed a little bit, but I didn't really have time to talk. But I have made decent progress. I'm doing something at work where I don't really need to think. I just need to like copy and paste, but I need to copy and paste for like 4 hours. So I'm like on hour 2. And I've realized Script has the audiobook, and that was a game changer because I read probably like at least like 80 pages that way because I was listening to it while doing this menial hateful task. But Bloodmarked is book 2 in a Legendborn cycle by Tracy Deonn. So in the first book we follow Brie, who is a student coming to university, but she's not a university student. It's a little bit unnecessarily convoluted. Should have just made her a university student, but anyway, whatever. She goes to this university that her mom went to, and her mom died, I think of cancer, but I could be wrong. Anyway, she died, and Brie is still very much mourning her mother, and she decides to go to this like summer program for this school, and that's where she meets Nick, who is this handsome boy, you know, super nice. And she meets Sel, who's this bad boy, it's not very nice, but they're all beautiful, brooding and mysterious. And turns out they're part of the Arthurian Society, which is the society that thinks or believes or knows that the King Arthur was real, his table was real, and the, not Camelot because that's the castle, but whatever, the end of the world is coming, and they're the only ones that can stop it. And they enchanted their bloodline so that every time there's this the demons are getting free and they're coming out and all of that, their scions or their descendants will get their powers and will be able to access their powers. Like Nick is a descendant of Arthur. Sel, the other bad boy, is descendant of Merlin, or he's like half demon. I don't actually know. I don't think he's actually a descendant of Merlin, but he's like half demon, which makes him a Merlin. And it kind of kicks up from there. I mean, there is a very, very chunky love triangle that I'm not a fan of, but I did love book 1. I just thought it was so amazing. I actually read it for a vlog way back when. I think that was actually 2020, not even 2021. And I love book 1. I was so excited to pick this one up. My library had a copy, which is pretty cool. And I don't know why I got it so quickly. It came out and like 2 days later I had it, and I was like, why is no one in my library requesting this? If you've not read Legendborn, do it now and then go to your library and request Bloodmarked, because like what the hell? Like, how am I having this in my hands? But anyway, I am so glad to have it. I am quite enjoying it so far. I must say it's a lot of like go go go, action action action, action scene after action scene after action scene. And it took me a second to like really get into it. I feel like I'm enjoying it, but maybe not loving it as much, although like this far into it, 250 pages, so like 40 something percent. I feel like I will definitely love this because I must, but I'm not obsessed with it yet, just because there's been so many like action scenes and I'm not that into it. But I will keep reading and will keep updating you. I think that's another reason why I've not picked up the camera. I mean, I've looked like shit. I've been working till 10 p.m. and also I didn't have anything to say. So that's very helpful, I know. But I've been enjoying it, but not like loving, obsessing over it. But maybe it takes a second to get back into the world. Bree's kind of getting on my nerves, but I don't know if I think I liked her in book 1, so I don't know what happened. I mean, I kind of like her now, but I just thought she was very like kept pushing and pushing. Like, I don't know, it just felt a little bit like she was not being very smart, and she could be playing a game of chess. But she even says I should be playing chess, not checkers. But she keeps playing checkers. So that was the only thing that's annoying me. But hopefully I'll change my mind completely. I loved the first book, so I'm sure I will love this one. I feel like there's a lot of controversy in this book because I feel like I've kept seeing it on Twitter, but I kept scrolling back because I don't want to know no spoilers. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll update you when I get further. I don't know what it is, but I got the ick. And I don't think it's anywhere to go. So what? I mean, Demise, I don't think it's going anywhere. I've been listening to the audiobook and I hate. I really like this narrator. I've listened to many books from her, but when she's doing Sal's voice, I'm not into it. And I don't think I was into it even when I was reading it. So maybe Sal is the problem, but he just said something, and I gagged. I was like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I've got the ick. I'm sorry. Sal's not the one for me. Tim Nick. Like, honestly, go away. No. Absolutely no. I hope to God, no. Okay, I think I am 100% justified in my ick. And I feel like that was proven that I was right to be icked out because shenanigans. And I'm just kind of hoping this is like Twilight, where the protagonist spends the whole book with the fake love interest or the second guy, whatever, and ends up with the other guy because I don't like him. I don't know what it is. Normally, I would eat the bad boy crap up, but maybe I've matured as a person because I like the good guy. I like the good boy. I like the nice, kind guy. And yeah, he's about to be way more complicated, but I like him and I want it to work and I'm annoyed. But the book itself is actually pretty good. It picked up quite a lot. And I don't know, it just, I feel like the whole book's actually been just like so on. It's been so like, we sit down, we fight, we sit down for 5 seconds, then we fight. It's just like, it felt really like, ah. And like, yeah, the second book, we meant to be excited. So like, that's fine. But I just felt like I was like dropped immediately and just had to go with it. Whereas it kind of picked up to the point where now I care what's happening. So like it's pretty good so far. I am like 70% into it, so we are nearing the end. Good bit of it I got an audiobook. Was that the right call? Maybe I needed to get through it. Does the voice for Sal give me the ick? Yes. Does Sal just give me an ick? Yes. So maybe it's not the audiobook's fault. But I think it's the same audiobook narrator as That Does Groan by Tiffany D. Jackson, and that's the first narration I've heard from the narrator. So it just feels like every time I listen to a book and it's the same narrator, I just think about that book, and I'm just like, oh my god, what are you doing? It's like, you know, that mean, Selena, what are you doing here? Or something like that. That's how I feel. Fine. fine. He's not that bad. I'm still not team Cell, but he redeemed himself. Okay, I forgive him. Just don't be such a dick. But I forgive him. Well, hello. I finished Bloodmarked. Dare I say finally? Yes, I dare. I mean, work was busy and all that, but if it wasn't for that audiobook, I'd be reading this book for 5 years more. I mean, I'm a little bit sad to say I was a bit disappointed. And I need to talk through my thoughts with you because I don't feel like I was disappointed at the quality of the book or the story, because that was still on par. I'm just disappointed in my enjoyment of it, and I really don't know what the problem was. I feel like I've said this a lot recently with some books. Maybe not so much recently, but like I went through a rough patch where I was like, I'm so stressed. I don't know if I'm not liking books because I'm stressed, or I just don't like the book. And you know what? I started another book this morning, read 150 pages in one go, and it might be my favorite book of the year. So like, I don't think it's the circumstances. So, what was my problem with the book? I think, and maybe I'm quite unique in this or like a weirdo in this, but I think I just really enjoy setup. I really like those quiet moments where the characters get to know each other, talk, you get to acclimatize in the place you're in, and you really feel it, and you're like, I don't know, maybe I like slower stories. I mean, this isn't always true, obviously, but I just felt with this book, like, we got some of those moments, we did, but only maybe in like the second half. So the first half just felt like we were constantly going, and there wasn't like a space to sit down and breathe, and it just felt like constant, and I just felt tired reading it. And I was like, girl, you must be tired because I'm tired reading about all the crap you're going through, and you're like actually going through it. I have sympathy, and I do have sympathy, and I swear I have empathy, but maybe I need to work more on it because I didn't like Brie for most of the book. There was just something so antagonistic, and to be fair, she was, oh, see, I got punished for talking shit about Brie because I used to love Brie. There's just something so antagonistic about her, and she was in a very antagonistic situation, so maybe that makes sense. It's just I get tired reading about that if someone's just constantly being negative and just like wants to fight. Like, it just gets me tired. So maybe that's what it was. I really don't know. I think the biggest thing, honestly, was Sel. I hate him. I don't like him. He kind of redeemed himself. I think I said that in one of the clips. Like, towards the end of the book, I kind of liked him, and you know, the ending of the book was my favorite part. I think second half I really did enjoy and I wanted to read. The first half, help me, Lord. I was like, we like get to a location, we're there for 5 seconds, something explodes, we have to go to another location, and that happened like 5, 6, 7 times. I was exhausted. So I felt like the characters felt exhausted. So I guess that's appropriate. Yeah, I don't know what my problem is with Cell. I really don't know. He gives me the ick. And I will only be okay with Cell being part of this relationship if it's a throuple. I've said that in book 1. I will say it again. And I don't know how many books there are. I really hope it's the truth, you know? I really hope it's the truth. I just want them to be a throuple or put him out. I don't care. I do think that one part where the book shined, as did the first one, was the themes and the exploration of colonization, slavery, racism in these well-established institutions in America as a whole. I mean, the whole Arthurian society is just a furrier order or whatever. It's just so privileged, white, and racist, and it just really shines through in this book. And I think the themes and the way the magic works, that was very interesting. That was really well done. I really like the whole concept of violation. Obviously, no spoilers if you've not read it, but if you've read it, you probably can kind of see what I'm talking about. I loved violation. I really loved how that was done. I really liked the exploration of the ancestors and all of that. So that all worked for me. And I think that's where the book shined. That's where the book is amazing. And you know, there was like twists and turns. It was really good. Like, second half of the book was actually pretty good. That really bumped it up. So in the end, I'm gonna give it 3.5. I do still really recommend this series. I mean, the themes alone, the magic system, the conversations being had are amazing. And if you like Cell, this is probably gonna be your favorite book. as in like Legendborn in this, there's only 2, but we're probably going to be like, that's the favorite, because, you know, if you love Cell, there you go. But he's such a big part of the book, and every time he came on the page, I was like, I hate you. I don't, there's something about him that I really don't like. And I feel like he's being held to a different standard than like Nick, and that's kind of annoying me. We're either into murderers or we aren't, you know, and it's just one way or another. Like, you gotta choose. That you can't be okay with it one instance, not okay with another. Like, I think psychological torture is quite bad as well. So, you know, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings. They're all jumbled. I was expecting this book to be like a 5-star runaway success. So I'm sad it wasn't. I don't think it was the book's fault. I think the writing's amazing. I think the characters are interesting and complex, and the conversations being had are amazing. Somehow it didn't work for me on the enjoyment level, but it did work for me as in it's still interesting. It's still a good story. It's just so well written as well. And I must say, just make the fucking font bigger in the next book. I'm sorry, I know this isn't like that big a deal, but I had to squint and be like this, and that just made me not want to read, because I felt like I read a page for 500 years. Just make it like 50 pages longer and make the font bigger. And I know that's not on the offer. I'm talking to specifically the publisher of the UK version, which is Schuster. Simon & Schuster. Get your act together, girl. Like, I couldn't read this. Maybe I need glasses. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, I started another one, and I'm loving it so much. I read 150 pages, just one sitting. It's amazing. I will tell you more because noise. Okay, I started The Dragon's Promise. We're on book 2, and it's amazing. So Dragon's Promise is book 2 in 6 Crimson Cranes. Where's the 6 Crimson Cranes duology? So this will be the last book by Elizabeth Lim. So it's about a princess or daughter of an emperor, whose brothers get cursed to be cranes, and she gets cursed to never be able to speak, or one of her brothers will die. But it's like my favorite book of the year, like 2021. It was so good, just magical, and like I could not stop gushing about it when I read it. I'm sure I had some kind of video with it as a content, but honestly, just best book of the year. It was magical, wonderful. It felt like a fairy tale, and it just made me so happy. And I'm very, very pleased to share that this book is making me just as happy. I love it so much. I literally sat down, read 150 pages like it was nothing. I'm already here. I started it this morning. I'm on 170. It reads so quickly, but it's just so magical. It's inspired by Korean mythology. I might be lying. So the original story is inspired by Brothers Grimm, I believe. Story about I think that girl's brothers turned into swans, but it's just like it's by an Asian author, and the mythology is just so luscious, and it's like storytelling. It's like you're reading a fairy tale. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We got to experience a whole new realm in the beginning of this book. I mean, this book is overall like absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. The writing is just so lush and so beautiful. I cannot wait to read more. I'm just devouring this book. I can already tell I'm like, is this gonna be on my favorite 2022? I think it might be, because honestly this book is just gorgeous, luscious. If you've not read it, you're missing out so much. It's gorgeous. I love the storytelling, and I love how magical it feels. So I'm gonna update you when I read more. But so far I love it. time for an update because I finished Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Flim, and I really liked it. It was 5 stars in the end. There was some, I definitely really liked the beginning, then really liked the end, and in the middle I was like on board, but there was again that stress. Maybe I just don't like being stressed, or maybe I'm not ready for it in my life. But it was a lot of like, oh my god, everything's going wrong. Can something go right? Can we just like chill for a moment, please? But in the end, I think it was really interesting, really compelling, and got me. Oh my god, this is the pearl. Girl, like every time I look at the cover, it's just like I find something new. I thought the ending was like beautiful. It got me teared up and made me happy. So I have nothing to complain about, and I really liked it. And I give it 5 stars. I don't know how much I talked about it so far. It's just beautiful writing, super expressive, and really heart-wrenching, and I like that. So that's why such high accolades for this one, because I think it deserves it. We're gonna put it in here, let it chill with its predecessor. That's the main update from me. I was filming all of my 2022 content and my camera just died. Like, not died, but like none of the buttons work. And this happened before, and I don't remember what I did to fix it. I think just magically fixed itself. And I've been thinking, do I want to buy a new camera? Because I've got like quite a fair substantial bit of like Amazon vouchers. So I could like buy something quite substantial. No, it wouldn't cover the whole camera, but like it's a good start. And I was like, no, I'm just being greedy. I just get so obsessed with new things. But really, it's about like, but really, there's nothing wrong with my camera. Like, I have this camera. I'm filming on my iPhone right now, but this camera is the Sony Alpha 5000. And like, there's nothing wrong with it until it breaks. It's got a couple things, like the battery life has just been going down quite a lot. I could just replace the battery. So I was like, huh, maybe not a big deal. It overheats really quickly, and now none of the buttons work. So I assume it'll go back to living at some point, but I think I'm just gonna get a new camera. Like, why should I live in stress? You know what I mean? Like, I sat down already, all beautiful, and it just didn't work. And like, yeah, I can film with my phone. I like having a camera though. I don't know, I just like it. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be getting a new camera in the new year, so that's kind of exciting. Hopefully a good microphone. But I have started All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Lynn Herman. So this is our third book I'm reading. It's over there, it's too far. But I'm like 100 pages into it. And so far it's quite good. It did kind of start like very like bomb. And I was like, wait, what? What happened? Who are these people? Like, apparently I'm now, when I was younger, I always used to read these books and be like, why is the author reminding me what happened in book 1 and 2? I've read it yesterday, so like I know, and this is so annoying, but now I need it because I don't have a good memory. I don't know what's happening, and I don't remember anything in book 1 except I liked a relationship from the two of them. So in book 1, I do have here, and I think it's way better cover. Book 1 was all of us villains. I mean, they do go together, but this one's just so much sinister, so much more sinister. In this one, we follow a town called Inverness, I think, where it's in a world filled with magic, but like common magic is the only available type, and high magic, which is more powerful magic, has been gone from the world for a while, except for this one town called Inverness. And in this one town, the high magic is still available. But in order to like not fight for it all the time, the families came to an agreement that once every 10 years, I think, 100 years? Actually, maybe it's 100 years. Once every 100 years, they have this tournament where they choose a champion, and the champions have to fight to the death, and one emerges victorious, and that person's family has access to high magic. And magic is really cool because magic you can put in rings and they like recharge and stuff. So it's quite good. I enjoyed this first book. It wasn't as amazing as maybe all the other books I read in this book. Like, in this list, I feel like all the other books on this list, I was like absolutely in love, enamored, and crazy about book 1. This one I enjoyed, but I didn't like absolutely love. The reason I read it was because it was the author of Ace of Shades, Amanda Foody, one of my all-time favorite series. Like, every book was better than the other. This was a co-authored book, and I didn't quite love as much, but I still gave it like 4 stars and really enjoyed it. So far, all of our Demise, I don't really have too much to say. I feel like I'm enjoying it. Yeah, that's what I have to say about it. I'm still kind of getting my bearings, and it's quite slow actually, which I'm almost enjoying because I feel like it doesn't have that sequel. We need to be running every moment of the day and bam, 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 and there's a bomb every 5 seconds going off, so you can't even sit down. I feel like what's really cool is it's kind of set like almost in the modern world, so there's like cameras and phones, and there's like reporters and that kind of stuff, and I like that the characters are playing with their reporters a little bit and the perspective and their image. I just like the stakes that have been kind of raised, and the story has been changed from book 1, so it's kind of still set during the tournament, but the rules and everything around it kind of changed. So I actually quite like it. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. I am getting my bearings, but I am enjoying it. I'm having a good time. And actually I will bring it. This is the cover, the naked cover, and it actually does look way cooler than I feel like this does. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's not that bad. But yeah, I'll update you when I read a bit more and finish it. But tomorrow we're going to Poland, so how exciting is that? Well, hello from the freezing Poland. Look at that. That is a whole load of snow. And it is quite cold. But I'm actually warmer than I was in the UK because you know what? We can actually heat our houses properly in Poland. I am making my way through all of our Demise, and God, I'm shiny as hell. I am 352 pages in, so I've been making steady progress. I've been kind of like sit down and read this goddamn book. Not because it's not good, but because the font is tiny. I've been reading it for 500 years. If you really look at this book with normal font, it would be at least 550, if not 600 pages. So I'm making my best out of it, and it's such an interesting case because I feel like we kind of pivoted in terms of love interests, and like it's very interesting because I don't know, I like the new one, but we only had one book to like really connect to the other one, and we did, and I was invested, and now it's kind of not important anymore, and now we'll have a new one. I only had like a book to get used to it. Makes me feel like the personal love triangle, it's not about who the other side of their love interest is. They're just so lonely and pathetic that they will jump on anyone. And in the book, they even make a note. They're like, whoever's near me, I will latch onto them. And I'm like, yeah, you will. And that makes me feel like I don't care about this relationship as much because, well, why would I? You're just doing this out of trauma. I don't know, but at least it's a male romance, so you know that's nice to see. So I'm a fan of that. Overall, like I've quite been enjoying it, maybe even more than the first one. And is that accurate? I don't know. I feel like the stakes are there, and like the characters. I feel like the characters evolved. I feel like they're having interesting stories. There's interesting conversations being had. So all of that's been really good, and I've been enjoying. I'm excited to finish this and start the last book. I had to bring quite a lot of books with me on this trip because I misjudged how quickly I can read. But what's new? What's new in the hood? But now I gotta get back to work, so I'll talk to you later. Hello. I am out on a walk because sunlight is scarce in Poland in winter, so I'm getting the most that I can out of it. I hope you can hear me. I finished all of our Demise, and I must say, it was technically like quite a good book. I really enjoyed the story of it. I think in the end it really succeeded in being quite original and having some unique takes and ideas. I liked that it wasn't like tied off with a neat bow, because that would feel disingenuous to the kind of story that this was. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I'm gonna give it 3.5 on my spreadsheet. I think most my problems were I just didn't feel 100% engaged with the characters. I think maybe if I've read them one after the other, but then I feel like maybe that change of love interest would have been a bit more jarring. I
think in theory this is like the perfect type of story for me, because I like things to be, if I were to write a book, it wouldn't really have like a happy ending. It wouldn't have clear villains and good guys. It would have complicated moral conundrums like this one does. It would be a bit more dark and sad and bittersweet. I love, in theory, if I were to write a book, I would love to make it bittersweet. That's like my thing. I love bittersweet endings. And this one had it. But if, I don't know, in like execution, I think there was nothing wrong with it, but I didn't like fly through it. I wasn't devouring it. I didn't feel in love with the story. So that's my 3.5. If you like a dark villain story, I do think this one did a good job. First book went on a little bit too more about people talking about what monsters they are without any like thing to back it up. But I think this one didn't feel so self-indulgent in that. I kind of gotta say, I think in terms of this being a sequel, it's kind of on par, on playing field with the first book. I think kind of kept up good things about the first book and they're like tied it off nicely. So not a disappointment at all. I think it was a good duology. Will I be recommending it? Maybe if I have a dedicated duology video, then I will. If otherwise, I don't know if I'll be recommending this book a lot. But I'm really curious to see what Amanda Foody has in store for us next. I love her other series and I enjoyed this one, so I'm curious to see whether I will love the third one. I know she has one I've not read yet, so I will get to it eventually. But yeah, all good. 3.5, solid.
Damn, I look good. Okay, it's time to talk about A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lynn. So, here's the actual book. I am pretty much bang on halfway in the middle. And I thought, I've been reading it for a while. I should probably update you on it. So maybe let's start with talking about what the book one is about. So a magic steeped in poison. In that one, have I explained this to you? Maybe I just talked about it a lot in my favorite books of the year video. But anyway, Magic Steeped in Poison is about a girl who, by mistake, poisoned her mother and her sister when she was younger. Her mother died and her sister became chronically ill. The main character, Lynn, she sees the possibility that if she were to go to court to the best physicians, they'd be able to help her sister recover. So she enters a competition for the best tea brewer, tea maker, because tea is kind of a magic in this society. So she enters a competition and is hoping to win. A lot of palace intrigue ensues. I don't know if I'm loving as much. I'm like about halfway through, and maybe about 50 pages ago, I started like enjoying reading it. Before that, I found the hardest time staying focused. I don't know what it was, I just couldn't focus, especially in Neen's POVs. So I don't think this was a thing in book one, but in this book we have two POVs. So we have Nin, who's our main character, and then Kang, who's the love interest. And I find it a little strange how her POVs are first person, but his are third person, because I just like consistency. I feel like feels better when they're both in the same time, and I am actually having a better time reading the third person perspective. So maybe the whole book should have been in third person. I don't know. I mean, obviously it should have matched with whatever the first book was. But I like reading from Kang. I find him quite interesting because he's like this prince, and well, kind of a prince. It's a long story, but anyway, he's kind of in the enemy encampment, I guess, whereas Nin is on the run. I don't know if I had this issue with book one, but it's a little bit overwritten and it's so short, so I don't know how that's happening. And I don't mean overwritten in terms of plot, it's just like maybe not so much now, or maybe I just got used to it, but in the beginning I found it quite frustrating how in Nin's POV something so obvious that we definitely get from context clues would have to be stated and vocalized. Like, we're not stupid. I mean, it is a YA, I guess, but I just feel like people get it.
I don't know, that's what I got. But overall, I'm still quite enjoying it. Today it's the first day of my 10-day Christmas break. It's not actually first day, it's still Friday. So tomorrow's Saturday and it's Christmas Eve, and I am so excited for the break. I just feel like I'm gonna have such a great time resting. Like, I need a rest like this. Oh, I know, I like already started my beauty routine. And the rest, I need not to be working. I need to not to be stressed about work. So I'm so excited to have this break, and I will update you when I read a bit more.
Merry Christmas! If you celebrate. This is my Christmas outfit. Full Wednesday Addams. Right, it's been days. Christmas come and gone. It's the 28th at the moment, but I finally finished A Venom Dark and Sweet. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with this book. I swear to God, it was actually pretty good. I had fun, but like I struggled to get through it. I don't know what it was. I really had a hard time. I think it was Christmas. You know what it is? You know when you're like, I'm gonna have all this time to read because it's Christmas, I'm gonna do nothing. And like, yeah, but also you're gonna hang out with your family, you're gonna eat, you're gonna drink, you're gonna play board games, you're gonna watch movies, you're gonna catch up with people you've not seen. So you're not gonna read. There's not gonna be reading, you child. You know, it's like that meme is like, there's not even gonna be a house, you stupid bitch. That was me and reading. I had fun with this. I think it was executed well. I think I probably would have enjoyed it if I read it. Enjoyed it more if I read it right after the book one, because it's just like you have the story sweeping you in, you're invested in the relationship, like you're having fun, you know, it's a bit different. Whereas now I feel like I got like pulled out of that, so my obsession has ended, and I was trying to read this and I didn't have any time, and like I go to my grandma's house, so I travel for like 2 hours. I saw friends from high school that I've not seen in like 2 years. So like I'm spending my time well, I'm enjoying my time. Like I love being home and, you know, hanging out with my family. We played Splendor yesterday with my siblings. We played there's this game called Trains. I don't know if it's a Polish thing or if it's a like, I think it's like a worldwide game. It's called Trains, I don't know. But it was so much fun and I've just been having fun. So like the book's been good. I don't want to, the fact that it took me so many days to read it to be some kind of stain on it, and the fact that I'm not obsessed with it, just like to be any kind of indication of me not enjoying it, because it was gorgeous and it's still a worthwhile trilogy. I don't know what to give it. I want to give it like 3.5, just because I wasn't like swept away with it. I think the writing is just a little simple. It's really like short sentences, sometimes stating the real obvious stuff. And think I noticed it and I remember it from book one, but it just didn't bother me as much because I was so swept into the story. Whereas with this one, I was a little bit more like, when I think about what I love about like Six Crimson Cranes or The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which is kind of a similar setting, is a beautiful flowery writing. I'm not saying every Asian author writing, you know, that kind of mythology has to have flowery writing, because they don't. It's just what I enjoy. So this was perfectly fine, and I really liked book one, and I'm glad I got to read the sequel. And maybe one day, you know, I'll reread it. But either way, I'll have these I'll have these beauties, I'll have these beauties on my shelves, and I'm gonna enjoy it. So, I read 4 books in this video. I would only call one of them a runaway success, which was Six Crimson Cranes 2. This one, I wasn't disappointed because I didn't like book 1 that as much as I loved, for example, Bloodmarked. So Legendborn, oh sorry, Bloodmarked is book 2, Legendborn is book 1, right? So Legendborn I loved, Bookmarked I was a bit disappointed. This one I was like, nah, it was fine. This one I guess a slight disappointed just in my enjoyment of it, but I'm not disappointed what happened. And then the sequel to Six Crimson Cranes, I thought was brilliant. A Dragon's Promise, that's what it was, A Dragon's Promise. I loved it, it was amazing. So overall, like, you know, it's still a good video. I'm glad I finished up like these duologies. I finished up now, so did I Six Crimson Cranes as well, and I'm gonna definitely continue with Legendborn as well. So, you know, all in all, we've achieved things, and that's what's important. But yeah, that's it for me from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. It's a bit niche. You would have had to read books one probably to enjoy this video, but I just wanted to do it for myself, and I had fun reading them. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you did stay till now, drop me like a sequel that you're the most excited for in the comments. Like, let me know. Like, let's have a conversation. But thank you so much for watching. If you could comment, like, and subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it for me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.